sealed off and surrounded by police. Victoria Park was once the assembly point in Hong Kong for the annual candlelit vigil to mark the Tiananmen Square massacre. But for a second year in a row, that gathering was banned. One of the organisers of the rally was arrested. Chow Hang Tung has been charged with suspicion of organising an illegal assembly.
Because they were found to have used the social media accounts to advertise or publicise a public meeting that had been prohibited by the police.
But the arrests didn't deter students at Hong Kong University who cleaned a Pillar of Shame statue as part of the anniversary events.
We want to educate students of the history of our university. We want to commemorate the people who sacrificed in the June 4th incident, and we want to defend the truth, the historical truth of the incident. And we believe that the university could judge that today's event is totally legal and legitimate.
For the last 31 years, the annual vigil has attracted thousands of supporters gathering to remember those who died fighting for democracy in Tiananmen Square. The rally was the only one held on Chinese soil to remember a chapter in history the Chinese government would prefer to forget. Critics say authorities are using the pandemic as an excuse to ban the event and silence pro-democracy voices in Hong Kong.
Of course, there are many people who want to commemorate the dead. So, and of course, some people are saying this ban could be an eternal ban. It will never come back.
This week, the museum in Hong Kong dedicated to the 1989 crackdown on pro-democracy protests was forced to shut down just 3 days after it reopened. Government inspectors are investigating whether it holds a licence to host public exhibitions.
Of course, we are very surprised and totally disagree with the action taken by the police. Of course, we cannot rule out there may have some political motives.
China's introduction of its national security law here in Hong Kong has not only put an end to street demonstrations, it's also proven a deterrent for many who would normally come to Victoria Park on June 4 to mark the Tiananmen massacre. If convicted, you face heavy penalties and a life sentence. Commemorations of the military crackdown are strictly banned on the mainland. Hong Kong's semi-autonomous status under the 1997 handover agreement between China and the UK permitted freedom of speech and civil liberties under a one country, two systems deal. But some academics say restrictions on those rights now apply in Hong Kong.
Ever since the protests in 2019, which the Hong Kong government failed to manage properly, the Communist Party has taken over here. We have the national security law, and under the national security law, there's a very new draconian regime in force.
With more than 100 pro-democracy figures arrested under the national security law, the city's voice of opposition is on the decline. Clarke, Jazeera, Hong Kong.